What's going on, guys? Started the stream a little bit early, right? Giving everybody a few minutes to join. 7 o'clock, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Just for the new people, right? Make sure you guys join our Discord. We are live every single day, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. through 10:30 a.m. And then Monday through Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. doing the isolation session, which is what we're doing now, and Sundays in the morning to do the weekly market breakdown. So make sure you guys join our Discord to stay tuned to when we are live, when we're not gonna stream. Sometimes in the mornings, if there's no pairs really to look at, if everything moved early during Asia session, London session, we don't have an opportunity for NYC, then we don't look at those trades, and we don't even look at our charts for those days. So doesn't happen often, but it does happen sometimes. Gonna give everybody a few more seconds here before we start, but I am gonna start turning on the pairs that we look at. Right, we look at about 10-11 pairs. There are a few pairs right now that are not in the best place to look for an entry. So in total, there's probably about 8 to 9 pairs that we're actively looking at, to take trades, take entries, look for an opportunity. So let's get started with that. So we know we're looking at AU. We know CHFJPY is part of it, but we're not going to add it since we're in PCAD territory. EA, ECAD, EU, GCAD, GJGU, US30, USDCAD, gold, and Bitcoin. Right? But again, if you guys have any questions, any other pairs that you guys would want me to add, I know there's other pairs like EURGBP that we looked at this morning that I did make an alarm to look at that pair for today. So we're actually going to start off with that pair so I don't forget. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Right, EURGBP is a pair that we were looking at today. Somebody in our group was wanting to trade this, so we're gonna go ahead and just add this, right? So remember what we were talking about this morning, right? We'll start off with EG. Price, right? When we're looking at where price is at, right? If we just start adding our lines to where the breaks are, where the breaks happened, what lows were made, right? We start seeing, okay, we had higher high, this broke, which gave us this higher low, right? When this higher low broke, let's switch this 30 minutes so we're not confused. And let me also just delete all of this for now, right? We know that we're trading between, we were in this little zone of consolidation, okay. Then we have this 30-minute break, right? So this high broke, then gave us this high, right? This higher high went to this one, right? Which then gave us this higher low here, right? This higher low then gave us this higher high, right? And we know that we're still trading, right? It wasn't until right now, right? That one opening candle that we had at 5 p.m. wasn't a break, it was just a wick, right? But it did break below the line, right? But again, still not a break. This could just be a testing candle, right? This could be the candle that makes everybody believe, oh, it broke down below, this is where price is gonna flip and start making lower lows and lower highs, right? But we could still see how we're trading between higher high, higher low, and higher high, right? We're trading between higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So okay, in the higher high, what are we looking for after a higher high, right? We're looking for a higher low. So we already know that price, in order for this to qualify as a higher low, again, we can't have a candle closure below. It cannot be a BOS. And in this case, this does not mean, oh, this is a lower low, right? I'm not looking at the wick, I'm looking at the body closure. Notice how the bodies of these candles closed above where these candles were, right? So this is still a higher low. Now you're saying, oh, but what if the market flips, blah blah blah, right? That could happen, but we have to wait for those setups, right? What I was explaining this morning is, okay, cool, once you know you're in a higher high and you see that price is rejecting, the price is going to do one of two things, right? We're either going to trend or consolidate. Damn, give me a minute, guys, sorry about that. Right? price is either going to trend or consolidate. In a pullback, right, or in any part of the market, you're either going to get a pullback that's a trend, or you're going to get a pullback that's a consolidation. Can both happen simultaneously? Absolutely. Right? We could get a small consolidation zone, right? Make everybody believe that this is a break of structure of that zone, right? To make people believe that, okay, we consolidated, we broke below, we're going to get a retest and continue to go down. But again, realistically speaking, this is just a variation of a pullback, right? So in order for us to continue to look for another entry, if you miss these entries from the top at the top of consolidation, that's it. You missed the entry, right? Your next move, the next possible entry is going to be after the break and the retest of the actual BOS, right? And once we get that, that's when we can start looking for another entry to go down, right? But right now, since we still know that we are in higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? We know that if price ends up breaking these highs here, it's just clean traffic on the left hand side to continue to go up, right? I hope that makes sense. So this is what we do in today's class, guys. We break down the 30-minute time frame, what we could really see. Obviously, we go over the overall time frame as well to see overall market makers pattern, where we're at, what we could look for, do we have any continuations. But that's pretty much it, right? I just wanted to go over this pair just so we could see how it's been reacting, you know, after ADR was hit, right? STP was 17 pips. We did 17 pips. We did a few more pips down low, right? But nothing crazy, and then we just stayed in this range. So we're gonna go ahead and just save this chart, right? And again, if anybody has any questions about any other pair, any pair at all, doesn't matter if they have the red folder on them or not, just let me know. And if you guys have any questions about the pairs that we're looking at, why we look at the pairs that we look at, why do we look at AU and not another pair, you know, any questions at all, just let me know. So let's get started with AU. Right now we're still moving counter trending. We're still counter trending tops, right? So at this moment, we know that we're still trading between higher high, higher low. This 30-minute broke, right? So we know that this is the higher high here. This is the last green candle before the push down, right? At this point, we don't have the higher green candle, we just have the red candles, right? And we know that we're trading between that high and this low, the last red candle before the push up, right? Which will use this body of that red candle and the red wick here. Right, so we know that we're trading between these lows and these highs, right? And we have 2 days of counter rise. So AU is one that we're gonna just skip over, right? Again, this is trending opposite, going counter than the overall trend. Overall trend, we're in A2, right? Looking for that third push to the bottom to give us a new low, right? Waiting for this peak low to be hit. Right now we have no continuations. We're just moving sideways in the daily time frame. In the 4-hour, also just moving sideways. We're right back at the top of consolidation. This is where our safety trade should be at, right? To start looking for price to go down. So, you know, if we were to trade this, which again is going to be a trade where we're going to have to be super patient, right? We know that we're trading between this high and this low. If we could get price to break below these lows, we have clean traffic on the bottom left hand side, right, to clear that up and go down straight into take profit, right? This is where our zone would be. Vice versa, if we could just continue to trend up, look, we have clean traffic, right? Could price come up, reject these highs and continue to go down? That could be something that could happen. Or could price just continue to go up the same way it did today, right? Because yes, we had the same thing yesterday, right? Where it breaks, retests to continue to go up. Could happen. So we just got to be patient, wait it out, right? Wait for our confirmations and then take the opportunity whenever it's taken. So going on to the next one, EA, right? This is one that, again, I'm not in the best place to look for a trade. We're still in the middle of consolidation. 2 weeks of counter drop. This week being the 3rd week, we gave them a new low already, right? 30-minute, we're still trending down. 2 days of drops, still have lower lows and lower highs. So again, I'm not interested to trade this until we break above those highs. We have lower low, lower high, lower low. In order for me to feel comfortable taking this trade, we need to break above these zones first. right? Until then, I'm not looking for a trade. So EA, I'm going to turn it off as well. I'm not even going to add it to the list. Again, guys, if I'm going too fast, or if you guys need me to explain something, don't be shy, just let me know. ECAD V1, right? Looking for that second push to the top side. Right now we're at the top of consolidation. We have no continuations. We have a monthly drop. Weekly time frame, we had 2 weeks of counter drop. On the third week, it was a drop rise. Again, no continuations. Still trading between the higher highs and the higher lows, waiting to see if price wants to break above these highs. Right, in the 30-minute, we have 5 days of price going up, and then finally gave us a no net today. So price reset. Could price technically now again go right back up? It can, right? And we know that we're still trading between these highs and these lows. You can see price gave us a clean break after the fact, and the retest went right back down. ECAD, we'll keep this one on for now. We'll look at this in the morning. Man, my shoulder has been hurting for the last couple weeks. Last couple days, I should say. It's brutal, man. Like if I take a break here, it's like when I'm on the computer and I'm just like moving the mouse around, it's like my right shoulder is just like it really bothers a lot. So might be a little slow today. Sorry, guys. Oh man, let me try to get comfortable at least. I gotta do something about this. This is not normal. Alright, so EU, we'll start off in the daily time frame, right? There's another one that we know we're in the middle of the zone of consolidation. So again, EU, we know that we're not in the best place to look for this trade, right? But we know that we're looking for price overall to go up. So understanding that we have this zone 2 at the bottom of consolidation makes me believe that okay, maybe price isn't ready to go up yet, and maybe we're still looking for downtrend pushes, which is fine, right? Again, I'm not going to be trading counter. We're just going to let the price do what it has to do, and then we'll capitalize it when we can, right? We know that we're trading between lower low, lower high, lower low, and then price here is where it made higher high, higher low, right? Change of character to where we're at now, higher high. Right now, this higher high is not a clean break of structure, right? A clean break of structure would be if this first green candle, right, is good. The second green candle, if it would have closed above the first green candle without touching the zone, it would have been a clean break of structure. But the fact that the candle is still touching the zone, and the fact that the candle did not close above the first green candle, and then the next candles obviously were red candles that went right back down to the bottom, right, is letting me know that price is not ready to move up yet, even though we could clearly still see higher high, higher low, higher high, right? Another clean factor as to how I know price is not ready to go up yet is based on the fact that we didn't get a second day of rise that would have given us a 372. The fact that price went up and went right back down, it cleared out the day, right? It went up 35 pips, and then it went right back down 35 pips, right? 38 pips, right? If finished on a no net, we understand that okay, if price was ready to stay up, if price was ready to start moving on up the way we're anticipating it to, it would have already done it today. Today would have been the day that price would have done that. So the fact that it didn't makes me still believe that we're still trading between this low that we didn't have to touch and this high up here. And similar to what we were saying last week, there were some pairs that gave us, 2-day, and we'll see it. I forgot which pair it was, but we'll see when we cross it. It had a on Wednesday, Thursday, it had a second day of rise, right? And then Friday we're expecting a 372, but no, right? Because if you notice it, on that second day of rise, price went right back down, right? The fact that price gave us such a steep pullback towards the end of the day makes me believe okay, price is definitely not ready to go up, right? So EU, we just got to be patient with it and really wait for the real entries to not get slapped into a trade, right? The same way of last week, for example, right? Last week, for the traders thinking this was going to continue to go down, right? Just because we had such a steep move to the bottom, right? And everybody thought that this was going to be the break and the retest. What happened? Price went down, went right back up, and it will continue to go back up, right? Could it be the same situation here where people think, oh, this is where price is going to continue to go up because we have a BOS, and it went right back down, right? So again, just being patient is gonna pay us out a lot more than if we try to catch every single move and every single day, try to get into an entry, even when we know there is no clean entries. GCAD, let's see. GCAD is different, right? We have lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character here, right? And we know that we're trading between this low and this high. So we still don't have a BOS. This is a pretty big candle, so I'm not going to say this is a zone. I'm going to use the top of the wick, right, to the body of the candle. Still a pretty big zone, but we'll see. Daily time frame, we're at the top of consolidation, so again, not the best place when we're looking for price to go up. Again, and I draw this in every single stream, right? When you're trading, you're looking at higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, or lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? In higher highs and higher lows, or you'll see price just consolidating, right, moving sideways, right? When you're looking for price to go long, when you're looking for buys, right, and you're trending, do you want to look for an entry in the higher highs, or do you want to look for an entry in the higher low, right? And then the same question for when you want to go short and price is trending down. Do you want to look for shorts in a lower low to continue to go down, or do you want to start looking for entries in a lower high to go short, right? So it's the same thing in consolidation, right? Whenever price is moving sideways, you're looking for two things. You're either looking to enter in a consolidation at the bottom of the zones, right? At the bottom of the zones, or you're going to be looking for a break retest to continue. Would you always get a retest? No. There'll be times where you don't get a retest. So instead of getting in on a retest, you'll just get in on a continuation trade, right? Which is whenever you see prices going, if you wait for a continuation, right? Let's say you have 2 days of rise, you'll take a 372, right? That's what a 372 is on a 30-minute time frame. Same thing, if you see that price is continuing and you have 2 weeks of rise and you get a pullback at the end of the second week, then you know you're going to get a third week rise. Same thing for the month, right? So being able to capitalize on those entries, right? You're not always going to get a picture perfect break and retest. You're not always going to get a picture perfect flag post pattern. You're not always going to get a picture perfect Fibonacci 50% retracement, right? You're not always going to get a candlestick pattern. You're not always going to, it's not always going to show up. But if you're able to have multiple rules and be able to use those rules in confluence with what you already know and what you're already doing, you could find those entries, right? So even though I'm sitting here and I'm just showing you guys like, okay, yeah, we could find a break and a retest. A break and a retest isn't always going to happen, right? It might not just, the entry might not be a break and retest, right? The entry might be an engulfing candle, right? It might be a candlestick analysis entry. It might be a Fibonacci retracement, right? It's just a whole bunch of tools that we could use to capitalize on what type of entries we could have. Great explanation. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to go into detail as much as I can without making it, because I know it's a lot of information, right? So I try to go in detail without it hurting your brain, if that makes any sense. And I hope I'm doing that in a good way. Because again, I know it's a lot of information, right? If we sit here and we really start breaking down everything that I look at, it's gonna start hurting everybody's brain, right? But you can't compare, you know, I've been learning since 2018 is not, you know, the longest time, but this is what I do full time, right? I've been doing it full time for 2 years now. Again, I started trading in 2018, but I didn't start trading live accounts till 2022, right? So my first couple years of trading was just with a journal, watching videos, taking notes, paper trading. So there's a lot of information that I have been able to retain and be able to go over and see every single day. So it's definitely possible to learn, right? Obviously, there's so many people who do it, but you just gotta put in the time, right? And the best way to do it is just do it little by little, right? It's like when you go to school. When you go to school, you start in school and they start teaching you how to add, right? A couple years after, they start teaching you how to do multiplication. A couple years later, they start teaching you how to do division, then long division, right? And then every single year, when you learn a new tool, right? Just because you know multiplication, or just because you're learning multiplication, doesn't mean that you could just forget about how to add a number or how to subtract. Because even when you're multiplying, right, you'll have some math problems where you have to multiply and add at the same time, or you have to multiply and subtract at the same time, or multiply and divide at the same time, right? And if you go to a word problem, or not even a word problem, just a regular, math equation. Let's say you don't know how to do the division problem, you're gonna get stuck, right? So it's the same way in trading. Like I could teach you all these things, right? But if you don't memorize it and know it like the back of your hand, right? When it comes down to it live trading, you're not gonna be able to see it. You're gonna get stuck in that situation. So in trading, it's very, very, very important to be able to learn and retain the information that you have. So it's a pretty long example, but I hope that makes sense, guys. And again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Any pairs that you guys want me to go over, let me know. And again, it doesn't have to be on our list. I could add it. Just let me know. So the next pair we'll go over is GJ. GJ daily time frame. Right now, market maker's pattern is not visible in GJ. So right now, this is a situation where we're solely just trading the markets, right? We're looking at market structure, we're looking at price action, we're seeing how candlesticks are behaving, right? Do we have exhaustion candles at the top side? Do we have exhaustion candles in the bottom side? Meaning, if we have an exhaustion candle, a green candle on the top, does it have a long wick? Is the wick longer than the body, right? If it is, then we know that price is getting ready to start pushing down, right? We understand right now that we have 3 months of rise, right? On the third month, it gave us a rise no net, so we could be expecting a fourth month variation where price is just going to give us a new high, and that's where price is going to make a decision on whether or not it's going to reject the high and start going down, or if it's going to break these highs to continue to push to the top side. In the 4 hour, price is just trending up, still making internal higher highs and higher lows. We still know that we're trading, right? The real zones that we're trading in, right? We had this break. We know that we're trading between this higher low and this higher high. And where's price right now? Just in the middle, right? Until where? Until this break that happened here. So now, is this a situation where we're going to get a break retest to continue this trend to the top side? It looks like that's what's going to happen, right? So I don't want to get confused and have too many lines on my screen, right? So when we start going into the 30-minute, that's what we could see. We had 2 days of rise. On the third day, gave us a rise drop. Perfect. We're looking for a fourth day variation. Did we get it? Technically no, because we didn't get a new high, but it did finish on a day of rise. Respected the 800 EMA, continue to go up. We know that we were trading between lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we ended up getting a change of character, higher high, higher low, and now we got a break of structure, higher high. So not only that, after the third day rise drop, we had another day of rise. Price reset with a gap to start off the week, gave us another day of rise. Today, let's see what price did. Right, it looks like price gave us 2 days of rise, so this is going to be another day where today are we expecting this third day of rise. So this is where the situation comes in hand, where I start looking at how price reacted after we made this new high, right? So the fact that price gave us this new high and then melted right back down, and it gave us such a steep pullback, makes me believe that price is not ready to start going up, right? It's not ready to continue this uptrend push. Is this where we could possibly see price give us a steeper pullback before we go up? It could happen, right? But before we even say, oh, we're gonna get in shorts, or oh, we're gonna go into longs, right? What's up, Vincent? ES or S&P 500, please, whenever you have a moment. I got you. Which pair is ES? Euro. Let me know what the full abbreviation for it is. And S&P, we could definitely do S&P. I usually don't look at S&P, but I do have it marked because it's similar to US30. So we'll definitely go over S&P. I got you with that. Damn, I switched the chart. I forgot which, or GJ. So with GJ right now, it's still super simple, right? We still know that we're trading between, now that we have this break, right? We have higher high, higher low, higher high. So we know that we're trading between this high, right, and this low down here. price still is a strong low because price never came back down, and we still have a strong high. So ideally, we would like to see price. I'm not going to say none of these lows. I'm going to say this one here, right? If price wants to continue to go down, we have clean imbalance on the left hand side, right? So if price does decide to break below these lows, then we know it's going to want to come down and clear all of this, right? And then the only high that we have right now that makes sense, right, would obviously be the high that we're in now, where if price decides to want to break above these highs, we have a clean imbalance on the left hand side here until we reach the 30-minute high, right? Once we reach these highs, this is where price is going to make a decision. We're either going to see price reject these highs and start going down, or this is where we're going to start seeing price continue this push to the top side, right? So we just got to be patient with that. So that's what we'll be looking for going into the NYC session tomorrow. End of London going into NYC. GU, again, daily time frame. Where are we? We're at the top of consolidation. We're in V1, right? This is where we want to start seeing price push up and give us a second push, right? But again, looking at where we're at, similar to what GCAD, what we were saying about the trend and consolidation, right? We're in an uptrend, but right now we're not trending. Right now we're just consolidating. And again, I'll draw it out. So I know a lot of people learn from repetition. So I don't mind repeating myself and doing the same thing every pair, because that's another thing with trading, right? In trading is repetition, right? That's why you hear a lot of people saying, oh, make sure you have a trading journal, make sure you have your rules, right? Every single pair that I trade, I look at it the exact same way, drawn out the exact same way. It doesn't matter if it's a Forex pair, it doesn't matter if it's an options pair, it doesn't matter if it's a commodity, if it's a future, if it's a crypto. It's all traded the exact same way. The same entries, the same exits, the same kind of market structure, price action, all of that is the exact same, right? So with that being said, again, super simple. GU, we're uptrending, so again, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. That was a pretty bad drawing, but it's okay. We'll do it again. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? Or we're going to be just consolidating, right? In an uptrend, again, when you're in higher highs and higher lows, do you want to enter a trade going long, right? Do you want to enter in a higher high, or would you want to enter in a higher low, right? When you're uptrending. Or when you're in consolidation, right? Again, in a consolidation looking for longs, looking to buy, do you want to enter a trade going long at the top of consolidation or at the low of consolidation, right? So it's the same thing here. We could see how price is at the top of consolidation, right? Overall, and if we zoom in, right, which is just going into the 4-hour time frame, we could see that price is still just consolidating between the highs and the lows, right? So now that we can see price went to the lows, rejected the lows, and started going up, right? No continuations, price is just moving sideways. This is where the 30-minute gets in handy, right? We had 3 days of rise. On the third day, gave us a rise drop. Again, the pullback was very steep, so I was not expecting that 4th-day rise variation, right? Instead, it gave us a no net, reset the trend, gave us another day of rise, right? Beautiful. Today, price gave us 2 days of rise. Perfect. Could we be expecting a 372? Again, similar to the other pairs that we went over, right? Even though we could see, okay, we have 2 days of rise, would we be expecting a 372 today? Me personally, if it doesn't happen, right, we understand why, which is, again, at the end of the day, right? Well, this pullback isn't too deep because this is a pair that moves 70 pips. So let's see real quick how many pips. Well, it did 80, or it pretty much did STP going down, right? 46 pips to STP's 51. So this pullback is a pretty steep pullback. So would I be expecting a 3rd-day rise to be given? Not really, just based on the fact that we had such a steep pullback. Now, could it still happen? Absolutely, right? And we're going to draw that out, right? If it does end up working out, right? This wick is a pretty long wick. I don't want to use, as a matter of fact, let me see. Let me line chart. Okay, the line chart is at the top of. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is instead of using this wick, since it doesn't show with the line chart, right, that means that this is just not a real like candlestick. I'm just gonna use the body of the first red candle, and I'm gonna use the candle closure of the lowest red candle before the push up, right? And we know that we're trading between this low and this high. ES is futures, but just S&P is good. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Which moving average? The EMA is, I could show you here real quick. Is just the 50, which is the blue, the light blue, 800, which is the dark blue, the navy blue, and then the 200 EMA. I don't often, I don't use it for entries, but you can. Would I recommend it? I would only really recommend if you were to add EMAs to your chart, the only one that I would say to add is the 800. The 800 is the only EMA that I use regularly every single day, right? And it's not really for entry points. It's just to see where price is moving, right? Right, and it's also to use it as a kind of a support, right? We understand that the 800 EMA, for the most part, price likes to respect the 800 EMA. So in this case, right, it's not really doing it here because we're uptrending. But in the case where, you know, if let me see if I could use a good example, because GU really does tend to trend a lot. But we'll use it in this case, right, where when price was trending down, right, it went up to the 800 EMA. It obviously it went above the 800. But again, if you really look at the structure, we're still lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. It used it as a kind of a support zone, right, where we know, like, okay, we know that for us, right, I could draw this out for you real quick, right? We know that we're still seeing lower low, lower high, lower low. When price reached the 800 EMA, what did price do? It started consolidating. So uh a not so seasoned veteran trader, right, a beginner trader would look at this zone and be like, oh, price consolidated, oh, price broke above, oh, this is going to be a simple break and retest, right? Which is what, you know, smart money concepts talks about this, right? This is an entry that smart money concept talks about, which is just, oh, when price consolidates, you're just looking for a break retest to continue, right? But in this case, right, this wouldn't work out because we know that the 800 EMA right now, we're still lower low, lower high, lower low. 800 EMA is going to respect that lower low, lower high, right, until we change character, right? So then notice how we had lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? And then price was respecting the 800 EMA until price decided to break, right? When price decided to break, which is what happened here, right? When price broke above, it went from using it as a resistance, right, to then giving us higher high, higher low, higher high, and used it as a support, the 800 EMA. So when we started trending above the 800, right, we started using the 800 EMA as a little bit as a leverage to then continue this push to the top side, right? I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'll try to explain it a little bit more, or I'll try to explain a little bit more in detail. But if you're following the trend, which is the reason I'm just saying this, right? The 800 EMA is going to be your friend. Right? 800 EMA is going to save your life. Right? And then again, when we start going down, where did price give us a change of character? Right? Again, price went down, respected the 800 until we broke below these lows. Right? Once we broke below these lows and gave us an internal change of character, it went from respecting the 800 to now we started trending back down again, lower low, lower high, lower low, to then where we're at now, right? So GU is in a situation where, again, just similar to the other pairs, I'm not in the best position to take a trade on GU because we're at the top of consolidation, right? To wind the conversation back down to keeping it simple, right? Which is, again, when we're trending going up, right, do we want to look for an entry at the top of the zone or the bottom of the zone? Right? The only times you want to start looking for trades above the zone is when we get that break and retest. If we could get a break and retest to continue to go up, that's the easiest trade. And again, I'll say it again, not every single time are we going to get a break and retest. right? Sometimes we'll get in consolidation, you have 3 sets of patterns, right? And in this case, let me draw this a little bit better, guys. I got you, right? In this case, I'm only going to draw the 3 patterns in an uptrend, right? You have when price consolidates, right? And it gives you a type 2 pattern, which is a break retest to continue to go up, right? So in consolidation, you're either going to see this type of pattern, right? Which is a type 2 pattern, where price breaks, retests to continue. You'll see a type 1 pattern, right? Where price consolidates, breaks, right? Gives you a fake break at the bottom and then starts pushing up. Oh, that was my bad. I ran out of space. Right? Where price consolidates, breaks the lows, gives a fake break at the bottom, right? And then goes, which is a type 1 pattern, right? Or a type 3 pattern, which is what we saw in US30 on Friday, which is just consolidation, right? It breaks, it comes back 50% and then decides to go, right? It comes back down to halfway, 50% of consolidation, and then decides to go back up, right? So similar to the higher time frame, right? Which one could we see that's being played out right now? We know that at this point we could rule out a type 1 pattern, right? We know that a type 1 pattern right now in this zone of consolidation might not happen because we're at the top, right? So what could we be expecting? We could either expect price to give us a type 2 pattern where it just breaks above, breaks, retests to continue, or if it ends up breaking above and it comes back down to this is where we'll start looking for another entry to go back up. And that would make sense too. Why would that make sense? If we zoom into the daily time frame, right, what do we have down here? We have a double bottom, right, where price broke and never came back and gave us a retest. So could price come back here, in the zone of consolidation? Could price come back down here, right, and do something like this? Absolutely. So even though we were saying a type 1 pattern can't really happen, if we zoom into it, which would be in a 4-hour time frame, we could potentially see that a type 1 pattern could happen. Oh man, I went back a little bit too much. Well, no, because we know that these are just right. So if we go to the 4-hour, this is where we see it again. We're in a zone of consolidation. Price rejected the lows, started going up. We kind of already went through this, right? And 30-minute is where we're at. So let's update the 30-minute time frame, right? If we were to look for price to go up, right, these are the only highs that we have at this moment. If price breaks above these highs, right, we have clean traffic on the left hand side, right, imbalances on the left hand side where we know price is going to want to come up and reach to fill that up before it makes a decision, right? When price reaches these zones, is either going to reject these highs, right, or is going to break and retest to the top to continue the push, right? And then the lows that we want to see, right, we'll add these lows for now, and then the same thing that we see going up is the same thing going down. We have imbalances on the left hand side, right, where if price breaks here, we know that this is the zone it wants to go to, right? Not only is this a zone that it wants to go to, but again, we have the 800 EMA as confluence, right? We're still higher high, higher low, higher high. Could price come down to the 800 EMA and make a higher low here, right, to then go up? It could happen. And then not only that, once we get to this zone, this is another low that we have to break, right, where price is going to make a decision. Is price going to break below these lows? So again, just continue the push to the bottom side to cover this imbalance, right? And then again, same thing. This is just the blueprint, right? Once we reach these lows, it's another set point. So where we break below these lows, again, we have clean traffic on the left hand side, where price is going to make a decision on whether or not it wants to break these lows and continue this push to the bottom till we get to the bottom of the 30-minute zone, or is price going to respect and continue this push to the top side, right? So we just got to be patient with GU, right? Wait for it to give us a confirmation as to where price wants to go, and then we'll start entering. US30, and then right after US30, I'll do S&P since it's is right there. So US30, this is a trade I threw really late, an aggressive entry, and I'll go over it. That was something I was debating. I didn't know if I wanted to go over this in this class because again, I didn't want to give you guys too much information to where it's information overload, right? Because again, I do look at a lot of different confluences. I was, for some reason, I'm like, why is my chart not loading the time? No, I'm bugging. I was looking at a different line. Um, I look at a lot of different confluences, but again, this goes back to what we were saying, right? So let's rewind to what we were talking about in GU, right? So remember how I was telling you about the different consolidation patterns that you could see, right? So there's a whole bunch of tools that we see too. If you look at the top right, we have ADR, which is just the average daily range is what ADR stands for, right? What that is how much the market is going to move on average on a day-to-day basis, right? So similar to what the STP is, right? STP is just a calculation of what the ADR is, right? Which is the acronym for STP is safe take profit, right? So I'll give you an example. Instead of me looking to catch 405 pips in one day on US30, I'm only looking to catch 271, which is just a calculation of the ADR, right? And it's similar to every other pair that we do, right? GU is one that moves 70 pips on average per day, but the calculation for the safe take profit is 51. So instead of cashing out on or putting my take profit at 70 pips of the day, I'm only looking to catch 51 pips for the day, right? So the fact that last week US30 Monday through Thursday we had news and price moved so much, I wasn't expecting price on Friday, right? Which is why I didn't hold this trade. I wasn't expecting price to go up on Friday the way that it did, especially after 10:30. And the fact that literally as soon as I only look at my charts from 6 a.m. to 10:30. The fact that I cashed out of that trade and not even 15 minutes later it started pushing up, I was so upset, but at the same time I was like, okay, this is something that I explained on the stream, which is at the end of the day, right, when I go on my trading journal and I write down that I took a trade, right, I don't see the profits as the indicator that, oh, I won today, right? Just because you took a trade today and you won the trade doesn't mean that it was a good trade, right? If you repeat that trade another day, is it gonna win, right? Or vice versa, if you repeat that trade again the next day or whenever that opportunity comes, are you gonna win that trade or are you gonna lose the trade, right? So instead of me looking at my trading journal and being like, okay, yeah, I won a trade today, so it was a winning day, I look at my rules, right? So in this case, my rule was just ADR for the week, which in this case is 1,000 pips to give you the example. On US30, it did 3 times that last week. So in my head, I was already like, okay, if we were to hold this trade into STP, okay, cool, it did STP, but understanding that it was a risky trade to take, because we understand that ADR was already hit, it wouldn't feel comfortable taking this trade, right? And then either way, US30 is such a big pair, it's still 100 pips that you were able to catch, right? You're not catching, again, we just did the calculation, you see it on all the other pairs, right? GU doesn't even do 70 pips, or it doesn't even do 100 pips, it does 50 to 70. So it's still a good day regardless, right? But US30, if you're trading any type of futures, you're not trying to just go for 20 pips in the futures, right? You're trying to catch the move that we're in. So, with that being said, I know I'm rambling a lot, but it's really good information. So it's the same idea, right? Price consolidated throughout Asia session and London session, right? We knew that we had news on Friday at 8:30 a.m. We waited for the news to hit. It went down 50% of consolidation. It left a gap in the 1 minute time frame. Price went down, filled the gap. That was the entry, right? To then continue the push to the top side. Now, understanding that we have gaps, all these 1 minute gaps here, and you only see that I have these lines on US30. I don't have these lines anywhere else on any other pair, just US30. right? Understanding that we have these gaps at the top of the market on US30 already lets us know that price is going to want to come back up to fill these gaps before it makes any other move. Now, do these gaps have to be filled now? Could price decide to just turn back around and go back down? Absolutely, right? It happened. You know, if you want to go do back testing a little bit, give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Had to take my hoodie off, man. It's way too hot in this room right now. I don't know what's going on. If you guys want to do some back testing, US30 a month or two ago, it had a gap here at the top of the market, right? And this is a gap that was been in the market for months. I think it was like 7 months, right? And same thing with oil, right? US oil had a gap at the bottom of the market or at the top of the chart for so long, right? Same thing with gold. Gold had a gap at the top of the market, right? So anticipating those moves, not only would they allow you to be like, okay, why aren't these trades, if you were looking for shorts, right, for a continuation to go down, why aren't those trades working out long term, right? And then vice versa for whenever there's a pip or a gap in the other side, right? Why isn't the trade working out going long? So this entry was just an aggressive entry, looking at the fact that if we go to the daily time frame, again, overall market makers pattern, there is none, right? So again, I'm just looking the same as GJ, same as you as gold. I'm just looking at market structure and price action, right? Is price giving us higher highs and higher lows? Is price giving us lower lows, lower highs? Is price giving us a rejections of the highs? Is it giving us rejections of the lows? Is it giving us exhaustion candles at the highs? Is it giving us exhaustion candles at the lows? Is it giving us a fake break of structure? All of that goes into consideration, right? Is it giving us a continuation? Do we have no nets? Is price just trending the way we've been trending for the last 5 months, right? Or is price going sideways? So when we go down to the lower time frame, right, which is in the 4 hour, we could see that we're still trading, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high. These breaks, this is not a real break of structure, right? This is, think about this as phantom candles. These aren't real candles, right? So we know that this double top really isn't a double top, right? This is just a facade to make traders believe that, oh, we're at the top of the market, we have a double top at the top of the market, this is where price is going to start trending down, right? Which again would be ideal, would love to see that. But I understand that, brother, the market maker is not going to give you a Mona Lisa on US30. He'll probably give you a Mona Lisa on AUDUSD. He'll probably give you a Mona Lisa on EURUSD. He'll probably even give you a Mona Lisa on a GU pair, on a GBP pair. On US30, on Bitcoin, on gold, oil, even GJ, S&P, USD ZAR, those big pairs that have over 100 pips in ADR, for the most part, a lot of these moves, a lot of double tops, a lot of double bottoms, a lot of flag post patterns, they're fake moves. Because the market knows that this is what people trade, right? It's just Forex one-on-one, right? Forex one-on-one is in a downtrend you want to see a double top, right? In an uptrend you want to see a double bottom, right? The same thing with the triple tops, the same thing with the triple bottoms, right? So of course the market maker is still giving us, again, we're still higher high, higher low, higher high. So in order for me to feel comfortable taking shorts, I need to be able to see price break below these lows down here, right? Which again, everything is color coordinated too. I probably should have said this earlier. So I look at the daily, the 4 hour, and the 30-minute time frame, right? As you guys can see, I go from the daily, right? Once we know where we're at in the daily, we go to the 4 hour. When we know where we're at in the 4 hour, we go to the 30-minute, which is where we look for our entry, right? So the daily time frame, which is the daily highs, the daily lows, they're going to be the gray box, right? The 4 hour highs, the 4 hour lows is going to be the blue box, and then the 30-minute time frame is going to be anything in red. So if like these red boxes, these red highlighters, or you know, the white or the grayish highlighters, those are all 30-minute daily time frames or 4 hour time frame. If you need me to explain that again, let me know. So the fact that today price created such a fast movement again, and it wasn't a break of structure. That's another thing I want you guys to really understand is what's a real break of structure, what's a fake break of structure, right? So first things first, we have a zone of consolidation, right? In an average trader's eyes, they would see this candle here and they would think that this is a break of structure and we're looking for price to break, retest to continue to go down, right? This isn't a real break of structure, right? What's a break of structure? I want to see, I'm going to try to draw this out and I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible for you guys to understand, right? So you're consolidating, right? You have candlesticks, right? Once you're looking for a break, right? You're going to have the first, let's draw it out this exact same way. You're going to have the first red candle that closed below the zone, right? This is not, just because the candle closed below the zone does not mean it's a break of structure. That first candle, the first candle, that first red candle that broke below the zone is a testing candle, right? It's the candles that's letting you know, hey, we might start pushing down. The next candle, right? This green candle that opened up, that's the one that's really going to tell us what's going on. If the next candle would have been a red candle that closed below the zone, right? And then the next candle after that would have been another green candle on top of the zone, this is what you would want to see. This is where you would take the entry to go short, right? Because you had consolidation, you had the testing candle. The confirmation was the next candle that was a red candle that closed below the zone, right? The next candle is, or the candles after that, it doesn't have to be the third candle. It could be the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. It just has to be a candle that goes back up to the zone and retest. That's where you'd want to enter to go short, right? And this is exactly what happened. How many people do you think took this trade at 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m. here going short? They were in profit for a few hours, and then price rejected all of their orders and hit all of their stop losses. How many people do you think lost this trade today going short, right? So it's the same idea, right? You know, we could take a step back and be like, okay, why did you say here in the 4-hour time frame, why did you say this is a fake break of structure? Is the same exact analogy, right? If we zoom in, right, there's two things I want you guys to realize, which is, let me go ahead and start deleting some of these things so we can have a clear vision as to what we're looking at. Sorry guys, I know this chart for sure. I know that if you're a beginner trader, I know this is hurting your head because of all these lines, but I promise you, again, it is not as bad as it looks, I promise. So two things that we want to take into account here. Again, the first candle that closed above is still on the zone, so it's a testing. The next candle, was it a green candle that closed above the zone? No, right? It was a candle that just kind of stayed in the same place, and then the candles after that went right back down. Not only that, right, but obviously we could see how there's a gap in the market, right? So when price opened up for this week, it gapped up to the top. That already let us know that this is a weak zone, a weak break of structure, because we know that gaps just reset the trend, right? Is made to trap traders, making everybody believe that, you know, if price broke here, how many people do you think caught this trade? You know, they were wrong, making them believe that this is a break retest to continue to go up. And then what happened? Price just melted, right? So understanding that we do not have a clean break of structures of these highs, and understanding that if this would have been a break of structure, then that means that we're trading between this high and this low. So that would mean that we're trading between change of character, right? Because then we had higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, change of character, lower high, lower low, break of structure. And what do we know? We know that after a change of character, right, in order for us to go from higher highs, higher lows to lower lows and lower highs, the confirmation that price is going to continue to go down, that this lower low, lower high isn't just part of a pullback, we want to see a change of character and a break of structure. the fact that we have a change of character and a break of structure, if we were to mark the chart this way, how many people do you think are trapped in this trade going short, right? But again, when we zoomed out a little bit, we is super simple that we could see, okay, price was higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? We had the break here, gave us this low, and again, this is a fake break, so we know that we're still trading between higher low, higher high, and this higher low here, right? And that's exactly what we're trading. So as soon as price got, and the reason I called it earlier on the stream an aggressive entry is because there was really no other confirmation of entries other than just the fact that we have a 30-minute low, which is the red box, the 4-hour low, which is the blue box, and the daily low all in the same place, right? So it's an aggressive entry because I got in as soon as price reached the 30-minute zone. I got in my stop loss right below the zone. So if I'm wrong, I'm only wrong 26 pips, right? On US30, 26 pips is nothing, right? But that's how tight your stop losses could be if you learn a lot of the things that you need to learn, right? Because other people would say, oh no, but you want to put a, as a swing trader, you'll see, I'm not a swing trader. Again, I don't really label myself. You'll see that I say that a lot on stream as well, because a lot of people ask, right? And it's a genuine question, like, oh, what type of trader are you? Because that's what people, you go on Instagram, everybody's trying to say, oh, you should be a scalper, you should be a day trader, you should be a swing trader, you should do this. Like, you trading is your own journey, right? We could go deeper into it and be like, what type of person are you? What's your personality? Do you like it fast? Pause. Are you more of a fast-paced person? Are you more of a slower? Are you more disciplined? Do you have the time to be able to look at the charts, right? Because then that's another thing. People are like, oh, I don't have time to really do this. I need to do scalping because I need to be in and out in less than a minute. If you guys hear the drill, I'm sorry. We just moved into a new house and they're still remodeling the bathroom, which is right next to my room. So if it's too loud, let me know. They should be done quick. It's only the sink that they're finishing up. But if it's too loud, let me know, and then I'll just mute for a little bit. Um, I just don't know if you guys hear it. I don't know if my at this point I don't know if the cancellations would work for something that loud. They're drilling in there. I'm gonna take a water break, guys. Make sure you guys drink water. I've been talking a lot here. And we've already been live for an hour. That's crazy. It has not felt that long. It's all good? Okay, good. So, so what I was saying about that, right? I'm not a swing trader. I trade the markets, right? I've been able to develop my strategy to learn a little bit of everything, right? I kind of have every piece of the puzzle, right? So, again, you don't see that I have. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so all good. Thanks for all the detailed explanation. Of course, my brother, no problem. So, again, I trade the market, right? I don't see that I have fibs on the screen, but sometimes I do use the fib, right? So if you're a fib trader, again, I I'm a believer that every single strategy in the market works, right? The only difference is, which is the biggest key in trading, is where are you using these rules, right? And I'll give you an example, right? If you're uptrending or if you're in a zone, right? Again, you want to see a double bottom, right? A double bottom means uptrends, right? But if you're at, again, I'll draw it this way, right? You have higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? Do you want to enter a trade that's going to give you a double bottom, right? Do you want to enter a double bottom at the top of the zone, or do you want to enter a double bottom at the bottoms of the zone? It's the same analogy. So I could teach you how to use a Fibonacci, right? I could teach you how to look for a double top. Everybody does that. You could go on YouTube and go look up a video. Oh, what's a double bottom? What's a triple bottom? What's, like, for example, this is a double bottom right here, right? So I'll give you the example. How many people do you think took this trade here going, like, how many people do you think had a buy limit or a buy stop? I don't even know what that's called because I've never used those either. I also believe that that's one of the, as a beginner trader, somebody who's teaching you how to use buy limits and sell limits, that's the worst thing you could do to yourself. So we're not even gonna get into detail with that. So just using this as an example, right? If you're an average trader who's just learning about double bottoms, right? At the top of the zone, you have a double bottom and it doesn't work out, right? Straight into stop loss, right? I could teach you how to look for a double bottom, right? Because this one didn't work out. Oh, but this one worked out right here. Double bottom, break, the retest. Oh, but this one worked out, right? So if I sit down without giving you an example or an explanation as to, and I ask you, right, why did this one work out compared to why this one didn't work out? A lot of people are going to tell you, oh, that's just the stock market. It's a game of probabilities. One day you could be right, one day you could be wrong, right? If that was true, we would all be hitting Hard Rock casinos right now. We'd all be trading. I mean, we'd all be gambling our money on a slot machine. Cause you have a better chance at making money going to a casino than you are going into a stock market. If you're trading with that mindset, right? Because in the stock market, you have you have an edge, and the edge is understanding where you're at in the market. And again, same thing we were explaining earlier. At the top of the zone, which is up here, at the top of the zone, we don't want to look for longs at the top of the zone. Because of this, they're going to give you double tops at the top of the zone. They're going to make you believe that this is going to be a break retest to continue to go up, right? But understanding that a double bottom is something that you want to see at the bottom of a zone, and you only look for those double bottoms at the bottom of the zone, that's how you're going to win, right? And then vice versa, right? Let's talk about the double tops, right? If you really look at it, up here you had a double top. This one, again, US30 is a little bit different because it moves super quick, so this one didn't have a break retest. It just continued to go down, right? But let's see, can we see a double top here that didn't work out? Let's see. Right, US30, and I'm in a 30-minute time frame, so sometimes let's see. And I hope this makes sense, guys. I really do. Right, we could argue and say this right here, right? We could argue and say that people thought this was a double bottom here, or I'm sorry, a double top here, right? And then it didn't go in. It didn't go into profit. And the reasons why is, again, we know that we're trading, right, between this high and this low, right? And again, double tops, right? The M pattern. Do we want to see that at the bottom of the zone or at the top of the zone? Right? So it's the same thing, same analogy, right? So if what I was saying about that, right, is if I could give you guys a course and I could teach you how to look for these things, but if I don't tell you and I don't educate you on the reasons as to why those trades aren't going to work out every single time, if I don't teach you how to trade within the zone, you're going to be one of those traders that are just going to be looking at the stock market every single day. As soon as you see a double bottom, you're going to take that entry. As soon as you see a double top, you're going to take that entry. It doesn't matter where you're at. You're just going to take it. You're going to be one of those traders that we're 4 months into the month and you already have 600 trades. And out of those 600 trades, you won 125 and you lost the rest. But I'm such a good mentor that I taught you risk management. So yeah, even though your win-loss is horrible, but at least you're in profit. At least you're a profitable trader, right? But as time goes on, right? We've noticed that that approach to the stock market, at least right now, especially with prop firms, those strategies do not work because now you have a X amount of time. Well, now there's no time limit, but the drawdown, right? You have an X amount of drawdown that you could go into. So if you put yourself in a 1-to-1 right trading hole where you're already down 6% out of the 10% that you could do, right? Most of the time, psychologically too, we try to revenge trade. So there's a whole bunch of things that go into it. You know what I mean? So I don't want this class to be too long, right? So let's go ahead and just move forward. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Um, you guys are free to join the Discord. You guys could ask as many questions as you want in there. Mentors, it's me and E. But E right now is still on vacation, so I'll be the one taking care of all the streams that we have. And again, we do streams every single day, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., which is the live trading session, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., which is what we're doing now, which is the isolation session where we go over the pairs, getting ready for tomorrow morning. And then we do a class on Sunday. So again, we're active on Discord all day. So if you guys have any questions, anything you guys want to want to go over, any charts you guys want me to go over, whether or not they're on our list, feel free to send them over. I go over 36 pairs, which is pretty much all the Forex pairs. But due to the streams and not a lot of people are comfortable looking at so many different pairs, I only look at 10 to 12 pairs on this live session. So to keep it simple for everybody, and obviously for the streams not to be so long. Can you review AJ? Absolutely, I got you. We'll do it right after. We're only missing 3 more pairs: UCAD, Gold, and Bitcoin. So I'll do it right after this. I won't forget. I'll turn it on too. So this is on US30. I know you wanted S&P, but it's US30 and S&P are the exact same, right? Real quick, let's finish US30. So US30 right now, we had a day of drop yesterday. Today price gave us a no net where price just finished in the exact same place where we started, right? So this is a no net for the day, so no continuations. Haven't had a no net on this in a little bit, so finally a day where price was just calmly moving, right? And understanding that tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we have news, real strong news coming in. So we'll see how this ends up shaping up, right? And again, Vincent, I know you wanted S&P, but again, S&P is very similar to US30, very very similar, right? Same exact pattern, same exact movements, right? The only difference is obviously US30 is a pair that moves 1,000 pips compared to S&P that only does 400, but it's still a lot of pips, right? Same type of drawings, right? We had the breakup here. The only difference is that S&P doesn't have a gap, but it's the same thing, right? The first candle that broke above is a green candle. The next candle should have been a green candle that closed above. Did we get that candle closure above the first green candle? No. Then after that, price went right back down. So we know that we're still trading, right, on S&P. We're still trading between this low and this high. And where are we right now? In the middle, right? So this is where price is going to make that decision, right, as to where price wants to go. And if we go to the 30-minute, we can see, okay, at one point we were making higher highs and higher lows, higher highs until this point. But we started making, again, same thing as US30, lower low, change of character, lower high, right, lower low, break of structure, to where we're at now in the lower high section. But we could see how many times, okay, we had lower high. At this point, we'd be expecting price to go down, right? And it did. It went down a little bit, rejected the lows, right? And then went right back up. Rejected the highs again, rejected the highs again. So, here on S&P, the entries on S&P for Friday was the same. The entry for today, not really, right? So the only valid entry on S&P, which would be the safest entry, is going to be the break retest to continue to go up. And again, we have clean traffic on the left hand side, just an imbalance that we know price is going to want to fill, right? Now once we reach these highs is where price is going to make this decision again, right? Is either price is going to reject to continue to go down, or if price is going to break retest to continue this push to the top side, right? So S&P is again similar to US30. It's pretty much the same outlook, same analysis, same movements. So let me know if that made sense. If it did, perfect. If it didn't, again, I'll try to go over it again if you guys need me to. USDCAD, real quick, we're gonna try to do this pretty fast. I know USDCAD is not in the best place to look for a trade either. Right now we're in V2, right? So right now we zoom out, right? This drawing that we have up here is market maker's pattern, right? So the double top at the top of the zone to go down, push 1, first zone, push 2, second zone, push 3 to the bottom. Then we have push 1, push zone 1, push 2, zone 2 to then push 3. So if we were to just draw a line, like right now where we're at in the middle of the zone of consolidation, right, we're looking for this, right, which is the same thing. Right now we're here looking for this, right? So understanding that we're in the middle of the zone of consolidation, which is again not the best place to look for a trade, this is where the market makers or whoever it is that moves the market, right? Because I know a lot of people don't believe in market makers, whatever. This is where they're gonna trap you, right? In the middle of a zone is where they're gonna make you believe that, oh, this is a double top, oh, this is a double bottom, oh, this is an engulfing red candle to go short, oh, this is an engulfing green candle to go long. In the middle of the zone, they're going to throw everything at you so you could get in, right? And understanding that, again, if we just go into a lower time frame, what are we doing, right? Even though we could still see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? We could still see how price is going back down and making lower lows, and then again higher highs, higher low, lower high, higher low, higher high. So realistically speaking, right now price is just consolidating, right? So the best place for us to look for a trade on USDCAD, which is why right now personally I'm not really looking at trades on USDCAD until we break above this 4-hour high, right? And the reason being is just look how many times price rejected these highs. Again, this green candle is not a break of structure. The first green candle is a test. If the next candle would have been a green candle that's not touching the zone and it would have closed above, then that would have been a confirmation that, oh, okay, cool, this is where we're going to see the break, the retest to continue. But price ended up going way back down again, right? So in the 30-minute, do we have any continuations? No, we have a day of no net. So, and we have 800 EMA. Again, same situation. We had 2 days of rise. We were not expecting that 372, that third day of rise, because of how steep the pullback was at the end of the day, right? So right now for USD-CAD is just one of those pairs that we're going to continue to update, obviously. We're going to track it, but we're not going to be trading it. Again, at least myself, right? I'm not going to be trading USD-CAD until we break above these zones. Gold daily time frame, again, another pair that market maker's pattern is not present. Price is just, we're going to follow price action, market structure. Right now we have 3 weeks of rise, so this week I'm not really expecting price to finish at the top. I'm expecting gold to start pushing down, right? And this is pretty much the zone that I want to start looking for that price, right? We had 2 days of rise, today being the third day, it gave us that third day of rise, right? So we already know after 3 days of rise, the market must chop or drop, right? And vice versa. After 3 days of drop, market must rise or chop, right? So today, or today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, so Wednesday, so tomorrow's trading session, this is where I want to start seeing price trending down, right? But right now we have no confirmation. Right now we could still see price making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? Then notice how price is already giving us a double top. So how many traders do you think are trapped in these shorts that are in? If they had a tight stop loss, they probably already hit their stop loss. But for the most part, you'll have people that trade having their stop losses above the zone. So, how many people do you think are trapped into these trades going short right now? So we just gotta wait it out, right? At this point, the zones that I'm looking for, if we just take these out, right, what I'm gonna be looking for, right, if price decides to start going down, I would like to see this price being rejected here, right? If price could break below these lows, which is again just a very tight zone, this is where I would want to see price continue that push to the bottom side, right? And then vice versa. I'm not gonna add the green line. It's just gonna be the top of the zone. If price, the only way I'll be looking for price to go up is if price breaks above these zones here to continue this push to the top side, right? So either way, we'll be waiting for this in the morning. Definitely gonna keep an eye on gold tomorrow morning. And then last but not least, well, Bitcoin, and then we'll do AJ. Alright, so Bitcoin, not gonna do a deep analysis on it. We're just gonna, I like to just trade Bitcoin on continuations. So again, if I have a 372, if I have something like that to trade, you know, then we'll take those entries. But right now, we don't have that, right? The only thing that we have is a third month high, right? The third month rise, where I'm expecting price to give me a new high before we start trending down. So the fact that price is still making, again, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? Could this be just a retest of these zones to then continue this push to the top side? Absolutely, right? And then the zones that I'm looking for in this situation, right, would just at this point be, okay, if we could break above these highs here, which is again a really, it's pretty tight, close to where we're at, right? Then we know price is gonna want to obviously, right, break, retest, continue, and we have clean imbalances on the left hand side, right? And then again, we could just draw the blueprint as to where we want to see these breaks, right? Once we get to this high, price is going to stop again, make a decision, right? And then at this point, you know, we pretty much have clean pushes to the top side once we get to the top. So we'll just be waiting for that on Bitcoin. And then last but not least, AJ. Again, if you guys have any other questions, any other pairs you guys want me to go over, let me know. If not, we'll be done right after this one. And again, the link for the Discord is in the chat. It's pinned, but I will put it again in the chat if you guys are interested in wanting to join. So AJ, let's start from the daily time frame. So AJ is in a situation just how USDCAD was, right? Where at one point, right, we were just in the second zone of consolidation, looking for that third push to the top side, which is where we're at now, right? So we could already see that the previous peak high on AJ is up here, right? So we know that price is at least going to reach these highs. So now the fact that price, right, let's go to the 4 hour, right? The fact that price in the 4 hour finally broke above these highs here that we've been rejecting for so long, right? It's a good sign. We already know once we got the break, right, what were we expecting? The break, the retest, to continue. But again, AJ is not a pair that I look at, so this isn't a trade that obviously that we took, but it's a good example as to what we're looking for, right? When we get a real break of structure, again, all of these candles we're testing, none of these were real breaks. Once we got that real break of structure, we got the break, the retest to continue the push to the top side, right? So AJ right now is in a situation where if we're marking it, we have higher high, right? Let's take a step back real quick. So when was the last time I updated this? Was in the beginning of March, right? So we had lower low, lower high, lower low. Price then gave us a change of character, which gave us this higher high, right? And we knew that we were trading between this low and this high. Then price gave us this higher low, higher high, higher low, to where we're at now in the higher high. So again, now in this situation, what do we know? In a higher high, we don't want to look for trades here going long, right? Let's start looking at where we're at. We had a day of no net, which was on Friday. Then we have 2 days of rise today, right? On Monday gave us a day of rise. Today gave us a second day of rise. Could we be expecting that third day of rise today, right? This pullback at the end of the day isn't too steep, right? But I don't like taking trades at the top of the zone, right? So I'm just gonna keep this one is pretty simple today, right? There's not really too much to break down on this one. This one is again just based on, again, the fact that we're in higher high, higher low, higher high. What are we expecting after a higher high is a higher low, right? So I am expecting a pullback to happen, right, to go short if it does happen, right? And pretty much where that low would be, right? We'd want to see these lows being broken. If these lows break, right, then we know we have all this clean traffic on the left hand side where price is just gonna go down, give us a higher low to continue the push, or is going to continue to push down. And in order for us to start looking for shorts on this pair, we'd want to see price break below these zones here, right? Which is again in confluence with the 800 EMA, right? If price reaches the 800 and it's respecting the 800, then we know this is where price is gonna go up, and vice versa. If price rejects these lows and breaks, then we know we'll get those pushes to the bottom side, right? So we either want to see price break these lows here, or we want to see price break these highs here to continue the push to the top side. And that's pretty much it. This one, AJ, is pretty simple when it comes to structure. But that's pretty much it for today, guys. For tonight, I guess. Right? We again, I don't trade Asia session. We just use Asia session to look at what price did earlier in the day, right, and get ready for the New York session in the morning, right? Trying to already gauge what we want to look for, what we're, what our entry criterias are, and then tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern time, that's when we'll start looking for entries, right? If price already did STP, then we know that that's not a valid trade for us. If there's still enough room for us to take an entry, then we'll take those entries. But then I also want you guys to be aware that today's one of those days where there's a lot of news, right? So the news starts tonight at 10 p.m. with the NZD pairs. The night, throughout the night is going to be pretty calm. There's no news again until 8:30 a.m., which is USD. Then again at 9:45 for CAD, 10:30 for CAD, and then 2 p.m. for USD. And then Thursday, same thing, right? Thursday there's news all morning, starting at 8:15 in the morning, and then Friday, same thing. There's news at 2 a.m. and then there's news at 10 a.m. So shouldn't be too bad of a week. We should be able to catch some trades here. So yeah, unless you guys have any other questions, we'll be done for the night. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Anything else you guys want me to go over, any other pair, anything you guys want me to explain again, let me know. If not, then again, we'll be done for tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow morning in the live trading session. Just make sure you guys join the Discord. You don't have to join the Discord. Again, if you guys just subscribe to our channel here, you'll get the notification, that we're live. But again, we're pretty much live every day, 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. for the live trading session, Monday through Friday. So, or even if you guys have X or Instagram, you can follow us there. Everything in the link all those links are in the description below. Gonna give everybody a few minutes here to answer the questions. If not, then we'll be done. Give everybody a few seconds here. But it was a great session. Thank you guys for joining us. We usually have, Muhammad's usually in here, Fo is usually in here, but the days that we had a lot of people in here is the days they're not available, or the days that they're not active in here. But it's all good. Alright, seems like you guys don't have any other questions. I hope I answered your guys' question. Vincent, I know it was I don't know if you're still in here, but I appreciate the questions. Appreciate you guys being in here. You too. Amin, right? I hope that's how you say your name. But alright guys, we'll see you guys in the morning. Peace out.